headline is if everything that Donald Trump laid out in 1 hour and 45 minutes comes true, he'll be on Mount Rushmore. They'll have to make a little space for him, or maybe he'll buy his own mountain, but he'll become one of the greats. But that's a huge if, because a lot of the things he's trying to do are very, very difficult, as we all know. And he's only been in office 6 weeks. So every president says, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do, yeah. They all do it. But Trump, he's got this vision. And if it does play out, he catapults himself way up there. The second story, which I think is even more important than the first, is that the Democratic Party is in complete disarray. Hannity locked into this today. I was on his radio program. We have that posted on BillO'Reilly.com, as we do every week, about the disintegration of the Democratic Party in front of the nation and the world. They wouldn't applaud for people who deserved applause. They were mean. And Trump did taunt them. There's no doubt Trump did. He taunted them. But boy, that Democratic Party is in disarray. And I'll get into it pretty micro here. So this guy, Al Green, a congressman from Texas, he got a lot of attention because he got booted out and he was yelling or something. I mean, this guy, he is a popinjay. There you go, word of the day. He's a popinjay. You can look it up. And he doesn't mean anything. He's not a serious man. He looks like he's something out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, this guy. All right? So he gets kicked out, and here's what he says. Go.
I'm willing to suffer whatever punishment is available to me. I didn't say to anyone, don't punish me. I've said I'll accept the punishment, but it's worth it to let people know that there are some of us who are going to stand up against this president's desire to cut Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security.
No, Mr. Trump has no desire to do that, nor has he promoted anything that would result in cuts for those entitlements. Now, is Green lying? Yeah, in a way he's lying, but he's convinced himself, because that's what he wants to believe. He wants to believe Trump wants to cut all of these entitlements and give the money to the rich people. You've heard it a million times. That's what he wants to believe. So he's kind of talked himself into it. All right, that's not an excuse. I'm making an excuse for him. He's still lying because there's nothing on the record at all, and there won't be. Donald Trump's going to cut these programs. He's not. All right? In fact, the programs are going to go on and on and on and on until Congress decides to up the age, and that's what's likely to happen, but not anytime soon. So Green lives in a world of his own. He doesn't matter for all the reasons that I mentioned. But more importantly, when you have the sister and the mother of Laken Riley, and they're in the gallery, and President Trump cites the 22-year-old college student in Georgia who was murdered, allegedly by a Venezuelan undocumented migrant. When you have them there, and you don't applaud and you don't show any sympathy, there's something wrong with you. Roll the tape.
Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act. It's called the Laken Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never, ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley.
No demonstration of assent by the Democratic Party. They don't like that bill. That's tough. Then you had the 95-year-old grandmother who asked President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, to get her son released from Russia because Putin threw him in a cell for no reason. Trump got him out. You have any emotion from the Democratic Party on that? Then you had a kid with cancer. On and on and on. You sat there. And one of the really weird, bizarre things was when President Trump was again taunting the Democrats about Ukraine. Go.
The United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense with no security, with no anything. Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes.
Now, this is bizarre. So I wrote a message of the day on BillO'Reilly.com, said Vietnam, left was against it, okay? Iraq war, left was against it. Afghanistan, left didn't want it. Killing Soleimani, left wing objected. Biden wouldn't okay the raid to get bin Laden, advised President Obama against it. So all of that is history. In the modern era, the left, Elizabeth Warren, those people, they don't want war. They want peace at any price, okay? But now, when Trump, and I do believe he will get this deal soon, okay? No, they don't want it. No. It's all because of Trump. They hate him so much that they won't applaud for Laken Riley's mom and sister. They won't applaud for a 95-year-old grandmother. And they won't say, yeah, it'd be better to stop this Ukrainian thing, even if we have to fake it on Putin, even if we have to, patronize him a little bit. So it's disturbing to me. And you're witnessing the Democratic Party fall apart. So Hannity asked me today, and it was pretty interesting. He said, well, did you ever see anything like this? I said, yeah, I have. And in 1929, when the stock market crashed and the Great Depression kept hold, Americans were suffering badly. And Herbert Hoover was a Republican president. And Hoover basically told the suffering American people, we're not going to help you. And the Republican Congress said, nah, we're not going to do anything. You got to get it out on your own. We're not going to set up a bunch of programs. That led to 5 terms for Democrats. 5. 4 from FDR, 1 for Truman, okay? And then finally Dwight Eisenhower got in the 50s. That was a destruction of the Republican Party. We're watching the same thing play out with the Democratic Party now. And it's a very, very fascinating, and it's almost self-destruction, because they've got to know. I mean, you had a girl there last night, Peyton, and News Nation had an interview with her, very articulate girl, playing high school sports against a trans guy, volleyball, and the trans guy goes up and smashes the volleyball against the girl's head, resulting in brain damage. And you have this Democrat sitting over there going, we don't want to stop that. No, let's bring on more trans guys to play against women and girls. That's insane. And that's why the party is unraveling. Trump's one of the luckiest presidents in United States history because his opposition hates him so much that they're destroying themselves. And hatred will do that to you. You'll destroy yourself. It's exactly what's happening. Now, the other complicated issue with tariffs. We just announced today that Trump is suspending the tariffs on cars coming from Canada and Mexico. Okay? I knew this was going to happen, and the tariff thing will work itself out. But it's complicated. But beginning April 2nd, President Trump said, look, Biden ran up a $1.2 trillion trade deficit. That means $1.2 trillion went out, all right, to other countries, and we were down in the hole. Trump wants to even it out. So he says, if you charge us 20% for Ford or Chevy, we're charging you 20% for Mercedes or whatever. It's going to be even. Not Biden just saying, I don't care if anybody charges this tariff. We're not going to do anything about it. I think Biden, my God. So that's what this is all about. And I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if the U.S. economy is going to be impacted negatively. I know the stock market's shaky. Anybody who can read knows that. Business doesn't like it, but 1.2 trillion trade deficit, something's got to be done about it. And Trump is trying. Okay, so here's what he says about the tariff. Go.
On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them.
That means to get American products into China, India, Mexico, and Canada, the companies have to pay those governments to allow the products in. All right? And Trump says, all right, you're going to do that? Then your products from India and China, you got to pay us the same amount. That's what this is about. Okay. So all in all, I think it was a big win for Donald Trump last night. The Snap polls say it was. I don't trust those. But he got his points across. He taunted his opposition into more self-destructive behavior. And the happiest guy in that room last night had to be J.D. Vance. They got no one to put against. They got nothing. Midterms? I don't know. Trump's got to put a few wins on the board economically, though. He'll get the Ukraine thing settled, I think. But economically, you got to watch that. And that's a memo. Okay, the reaction on television news. I was on News Nation. I think I did a pretty fair job on there on a run-up. Tonight I'll be on with Cuomo. Should be up around 8 o'clock. My job is to give you an honest appraisal of what happens. That's it. No ideology, no party favors, none of that. I'm not going to wear a little Democratic hat or a Republican pin. Okay? We don't do that here. Anyway, but the usual suspects who make money telling you and me and everybody else what their corporate masters tell them to say, they're like parrots. Here's what they did. Go.
This was a tale of American empire. Because at the end of the day, he wants to run it all. He wants to rule it all. He wants to control it all. So it's a tale of American empire.
The problem is, like Wicked, you go, it's like a fantasy, and then you come back home and you got to deal with reality. In the speech, he loves the military. In reality, he's cutting VA and throwing veterans out of work.
Well, folks, tonight Donald Trump delivered an address. It was the longest ever to Congress. And that address was detached from reality, and it was full of lies. His presidential address was not presidential. His performance, another reminder that none of this is normal.
So it's the usual tripe, and I got to show it to you because this happens every day. And there's no context to it. Oh, they want to cut the veterans. They want to throw these people out of work. Well, the government's bloated, all right? Everybody knows it's bloated. Everybody knows wasteful spending is all over the place. Everybody knows that Joe Biden did not do his job for 4 years and allowed our Treasury just to be ransacked. If you don't know that, then you're not smart enough to watch the news or not honest enough. One of the two. Doge. Okay, so this is another polarizing thing, all right? So the Department of Government Efficiency is new. Trump set it up. Elon Musk in charge. Elon is a hotshot, okay? He's a polarizing guy. So I asked myself, I said, look, let's find 4 things that Donald Trump said were wasteful. And he spent 3 minutes and 17 seconds running down about 20 of them. Pick 4, let's pick 4 at random, which I did. I did it. And see if it's true or not. That's pretty good, right? That's a fair assessment. First one, $22 billion from Health and Human Services Department to provide free housing and cars, transportation for undocumented migrants. That is true. According to Open the Books, which monitors government spending. That's true. Second one, 60 million American taxpayer dollars for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. USAID supervised that. It's true. No one knows where the money went. 60 million went to Colombia. Where is it? What did it do? That's why the USAID was closed down. Third one, the Republic of Moldova, which is near Ukraine, received $32 million from the USA to promote a left-wing propaganda operation. True. And again, this was under USAID. Why? Why would you spend that money? All right, and the final one, $42 million for behavior change in Uganda. True. Now, this money was given to Johns Hopkins University in a grant form by the USAID. Well, what kind of behavior changed in Uganda? For American dollars, $42 million. What? I'm sure Johns Hopkins got a reason. It's a very fine school. Now, right at this point, the waste that Donald Trump mentioned last night stands at $25 billion. It's a lot of money. All right? It's $250 billion. And you haven't even gone into the Pentagon or the Department of Education, which are two enormous, wasters of money. So I like this DOGE, right? Do you not want this? Democrats don't want it. They don't want to know. They just want to send money to Moldova and Uganda. Why? Never an answer. Oh, well, we do a lot of good over there. Yeah.